this morning, or it's nearly afternoon actually, but I'm going to do this painting. Going to see if we can capture this beautiful old pub, the Swan at Radwell, late 17th century. Now a private house, but was a pub, and I've actually been in it some years ago before it closed there, thatched. But I want to try and catch this light. Look at this lovely warm light on here, and the shadows and these brick buttresses. But just look at that sky. Isn't that great? This band of almost ultramarine or cerulean, I guess, but this band of cloud here, high cloud there, and the road going into the distance. So we've got these darks and lights. So I think the key thing, I've got to try and capture the warmth and the light there, the contrasts. So let's get on with that. I've cleaned up my palette. So here we have it a little bit cleaner now. Got some different blues here, ultramarine over here, cerulean, cobalt, various reds, crimson alizarin, ochre, and lemon yellow there, and this is cadmium yellow. Down here, orange, a little bit of Payne's grey there, raw sienna, light red, which is kind of browny, I don't know whether they call it light red, and I've got burnt sienna there, that's right, and violet, and some various greens up at the top here. I've got that's sap green, viridian, and hooker's green, so a combination of those. Over here I've got a nice Naples yellow and Chinese white. So anyway, I've sketched it out, you can see there. I've got a fairly darkly penciled in so we could see it a bit better, but I'm going to now make a nice puddle of some blues so I can get that sky in. It's really very vivid in the upper third really, so I've got to make sure I get that, and a little lighter towards the bottom. So perhaps I'm wondering whether I should do a graduated wash, but let's sweep it in anyway. Plenty of water. My trees on the left, but darker colour will be going over those, so we needn't worry. A few sparkles left in the sky from the paper there, which might be a good idea. Get that wispy look that I've got. So I brought it down over the old pub there. So we could say, I think we could stay with that. Actually, in my reference photograph, I've got it much lighter here. So I think I'm going to try and lift while it's still wet. I can wet this up and lift it out. Like I said, I want it fairly light in the horizon level. I think we can leave it at that. Or should I get it a little bit lighter? We could. Let's see if I can get it even whiter. Using the paper to give me the lights that you do with watercolour. And I want a soft edge here. I want a sharp, hard line. So it just dab that in a little bit like that. Right. Let's leave it at that. It's better not to fiddle too much with the sky with watercolour once you've got it down. Now I'm going to go for, let's get that roadway in. Let's get a little bit of Payne's grey, a little bit of purple. Yes, I think we can do that because it is purplish, the asphalt there at parts anyway. So I've got a nice puddle and I'm going to sweep it in like this. Broad brush strokes. Let's get it down like that. And I won't be having shadows will come across here, so we will darken up elements of it. But you've got to remember watercolour will dry quite a bit lighter. I think I'm going to bring that out a bit here. The sweep of the road there. And here you've got greens. So I'm going to make a nice puddle up here. It's quite dark here in this section here. This is my first wash, so I'll just put in the light colouring really, and then we can change the tones as we need. So a little lighter there. So the light bit comes in here to the edge of the road there. Sort of warm colour. And then darker there. We'll get quite a bit darker there actually. But we can go with that for the moment. In fact, I think I'm going to put a little bit of raw sienna in there onto that green so it can read a little variety. Right, let's go with that for a moment. And all this is a mass of green. So I can just flick in a little bit here. Sky might be still a bit wet, so I've got to watch it doesn't bleed. But I want to see the sky through there, so we can go with that. And then it gets much darker here, so I'm going to get some Hooker's green. Hooker's green was developed by a Mr. Hooker, would you believe, in the Victorian times. There's a lot of botanical illustration at that time. So they had this colour developed for him. If you use it on its own, it's best avoided on its own actually. You need to mix it with other colours to make it more readable, realistic. So I've got to get some darker colour. I think I'm going to put a bit of ultramarine with my hookers. I'll get some darker. Actually, I might have a touch of Viridian as well, different green. A little bit of Payne's grey. This is quite dark, comes down here. In fact, right into this section. Yes, I can just see the outline of my sketch. So it comes right across here. Let's get a bit of slightly lighter there, a bit of ochre in there. A bit of our green again. I want to vary it and have light and dark, but I want to catch some yellowy greens up here, much warmer, but let's get that main shape in. I think it comes out all here. Right. Big hedge along here. And quite dark shadows are coming across the road too, so I think we can do that now. Grey up our road a little bit more. Some dark blue, perhaps a bit of red as well. Knock it back a bit. Yes. Just came across here. Shadows. It's a little bit broken up. Trees here. Casting a shadow. It comes here, just breaking into the road there. Right. Let's leave that. And I want to get some yellowy colour. A bit of yellow ochre to give me some warmth in the distance there. Where the road is catching some sunshine there. But also that I get some little bit of sunlight is catching these parts, and some yellow there warming up. Let's warm that. We need some sunshine coming across, and of course we've got along the road there, on the pavement, we've got some lighter. Let's tone that down a little bit. Right. Okay. It's just in the by this front of the one of these houses back here. You can see some nice light, some wall there. It's a little bit bright. That's it. That's a bit better. And I need a nice sandy, fairly warmish colour. Let's get something a bit brighter than that. We've got to capture this sunshine, which is coming left to right. Come down this way. So I've got nice warmth, light cast on here. So I just got to wash this in. Right, something, that's a start. And then also we've got along the front there, of course, it's catching that light. So we'll just sweep that in there, under there, like that. And this is a recessed area, so I have to get a bit of shadow colour in there. That's jutting, that's going back a bit, so let's go with that. That gives some form to it. Right. And also along this face as well. More shadow line there. Right. And up on there, some vegetation there. I've got a grass virgil on there. Got grass here, or a shrub of some sort growing there. And there was a nice hedge, nice sort of a privity hedge, I think it is. So try and get it receding a bit there. Put a little bit of dark on one element there in the shaded area. Put a little bit of blue in there. And there's more green. That lovely tree, which is, I think it comes, it's a tree in the distance there. More trees along this area. Want something a bit warmer, and this element is catching some light. Right, add a little bit of texture to parts of this hedge now, but I think I'm going to have to darken that up quite a bit, so I suppose we could do that now. Let's get some hookers, some Payne's grey. That's a bit too dark. Going to have a little bit of green. Oh, that's better. Yes, that's reading a little bit better now. I want the dark to contrast with the light of this building, so it's very important to get those darks in, otherwise your lights don't look as warm and contrasted as they should do. I think I'm going to improve the green along here. It was, I think our greens go out here too still. Green behind that building there too. And got green along that pathway there, on the verge. I'm using a Chinese brush here. It's really a calligraphy brush, but they make ideal tools for watercolour. If you want more expressive strokes, I think I have to darken this too. Let's get some dark in there. Right. Okay, that's looking a little better. This, put some darker vegetation there. It's going up in the front of these buttresses. I think I have to pull that down a little better. Slightly bluer in the distance, which is the way it is. You just remain with the chroma goes, but the blue remains. So, right, and I need to have this darker shadow coming across the road here. Comes right across here. A bit wider at that base. And also I have it out here as well. It's all being cast by this mass of vegetation. Right. let's leave that for the moment and get on with the rest of that house. Let's go back to getting some ochre. And we do this, can add a little bit dark, a little ochre there, but I've still got to keep it dark so it contrasts with this. And we'll put some more shadows under the roof line there, but we'll get to that. So let's have a little bit more yellow here on this stonework coming up to this buttress. There's a hedge fence, picket fence on there, which I'm going to put in a minute. But let's get a slightly darker shade in here. Yes, let's do that. Right. These flying buttresses are all white, so I think I'm going to try and keep them using the white of the paper. You could put it in with gouache later, but I think if you can get away with it with the white of the paper, it's a bit brighter. Let's give a bit of texture here, a bit of interest. Right. And here's a bit of gravel building in there, some vegetation as well. Right. Now, where do we go? Perhaps I should get the thatch in. Let's get the thatch. Have a look at my reference again. Yes, that's a sort of grey bluey wash, I think. Let's go with that. Try and pick out some of the decoration that the thatcher's got all along here. Little bits of special texture, or how they do it, little reeds that make it decorative. I'll just get this in at the moment. It's a beautiful thatch on it. Right, okay. And then we need, I suppose I could put some shadow under there now. Let's get a bit of blue, a little bit of crimson alizarin, and that makes us quite a nice shadowy cast shadow colour. Can do that. Let's beef this up a bit. Right. That chimney, we've got to do that in a moment. That face there, we could put a little bit of reddish colour in there. Can do some texture a little bit later for the suggests the brick. I think this is too bright. So we need to do something about that. That dark edge there. And get something dark to go along. To show this a little bit better. This face of the thatch is casting a bit of shadow on here, so we can run that in. You can see it's quite wet, so I'm getting some bleeding into it, which is some circumstances it's fine. Actually, it's a little bit down. Let's see if we can put some suggestion of these decorative things on the thatch. And I need to get this thatch edge in too. It's quite dark actually. Right. Under here too. I need to make a nice, it needs to come out a bit, cover that white over there. Yes, that's a bit better. Let's get a bit of an edge along there. Right, and then let's try and get some shadow to produce some form to the buttress of the edge as well. And along this face here, like a little triangle really. And yes, there's a bit of shadow on here, on that bit of that buttress. Come up there, and a little bit in here too. Right. Okay. Bit dark there. Actually, this side I should make a bit darker. This is under the shadow, so I'll darken that up a bit. Making that darker looks better. Chimney pots there. And a bit of our thatch work is there. On this edge, we need that. Got a window in there. And there as well. Right. Okay. Let's get a bit of colour into the other house. It's just beyond. here. That's got a lovely red brick side to it. Let's go for that. Right. Okay. And a little bit lighter on the face here. Let's wash that out a little bit because I want contrast. Oh, here's coming out of this brush. It's supposed to be goat's hair, this. Right, let's go with that. Definitely very... Let's steal a bit of that over there. And add some colour there. Not too much though. Okay. And then the roof line. It's a bit bluey, grey. Let's do that. Okay, there. A little bit of definition there. Let's darken up our doorway. And this should be darker there. So I'm going to put a lot more definition into these things later. Got that little dark lintel on there. And we've got, let's put this in as well. Little hint at the windows. Right. Right. I need a bit of shadow on this buttress there to make it read properly. There we go. Just a little hint. Keeping the white of the buttresses. Now let me see. Could add a little bit of more colour to this chimney. It was some different coloured bricks there. It comes down on that face like that. Right, with that. And add a little bit more colour perhaps to this face of this. Go for a smaller brush. Get more control over that, yes. It's a little redder. Right. And the house beyond, we get some different colour there, just to suggest the roof there. I think I need to darken up some of the tree there. Although it is in the distance, you don't want to make it too dark, although it brings it forward. I'm trying to suggest the distance, so there's less colour in the distance and a little bit lighter, but I want to give some definition there. It is much darker in that part, and this as well. So if I put darker in front of the lighter, it can push that element back. And say this part of that privet, let's try and give that more definition. A little bit more colour there. Try and define that pathway and that road a little bit better. Now in front of this old pub, we've got a fence. So is this thin enough? Can I get away with this? Yes, that's what we want. So let's get something down here to suggest it. Comes across here, getting a little bit smaller as we go to suggest some perspective. Darken up that little bit there. Perhaps a little darker in this windows. Sharpen up on some of the architecture, make it read better. Let me see now. It's a good idea to squint your eyes and see if you've got the darks in the right place, because it will improve the reading if this is dark against this light. I think I need to put darks, more dark in here. reading dark as it should. And I think these were some darker bricks there. Right, that's a little better. But I think I need to get a real dark in there. So that reads like you're looking under the thatch. This one's darker in here too. That's a bit of dry brushwork will give me some texture to this little valley here. Right. Now let me think. Yes, could add lots of detail actually, if I wished, but I think down here we've got a bus shelter. Can I do that? Can I suggest this? With the bus shelter. And I think some of these wood lintels can show better. Yes, I think they have to come out a bit like that. And certainly along here. Do that. And I can also improve that shadow area under the eaves, and it also is casting a little shape, a little triangular shape like that. Okay, oh, we haven't finished our, don't know what we can do with this hedge, or this fencing. Let's this is a darkened edge along there. Like that. And some more thinner ones like that. The odd darker one where you have a gate, or the edge of a wall there. That's a little shadowed area there. I could define this edge a little bit. This house as well, I think. let's start tightening up on some of our finer architectural detail there on that chimney, on this face. It's more shadowed, so I can bring that out there. Right. Okay. Now, let's see. Oh, I know, we could do a bit of texture into the face of the swan there. Now, how do we do that? I could use the texture of the paper, actually, if I just use this. Sometimes you can pick up a little bit of little ridges in the paper. If you do a little dry brush like that, add some interest. Right, now, what about putting some little accents of lighter colours in? I think could add a little bit of light there on that face, and also a little bit here actually, a little bit of a yellowy brickwork, and I could give some more warmth to the roadway and pavement here. Just come along here, I haven't delineated that well enough. I think you can see it there now. And I think I could I've got enough whites. Yes, I think we could. Let's go and put a little bit of white on the features just to give emphasis, I think. Two different bits, like the bus shelter, for instance. I can see some white. Oh yes, of course I can. The glass, isn't it? You've got to have the where is it? The shelter. It's picking it up there. Right, I won't do too much. And then we could see if we can add something to the frames. A little bit of white here and there, perhaps. If I look carefully, yes, they've got quite a bit in some areas. And that one by the door, I haven't really got that one right yet. Let's put some white in and go back with a bit of dark in a minute to help delineate it. We've got our lines coming up the road, of course. And there's a bit of light catching along here. like that. And we've got some features of the house there. Kind of could make this window a bit darker there. There are other houses in there. I'll suggest it like that. All right. Could I put more texture in the foreground on that grass though? Should I do that? Yes, I think we could have a go. Get some different greens. I'll get some hookers. Green and see if we can add some foreground texture. Yes, I need to have this. It was really quite dark when I stood here and took a photograph for my reference there. So I haven't really got that as dark as it should be. So let's get some neutral tones and hint of the odd green to make it much darker. Yes, we need that. I want to preserve that bit of light there, just coming through the edge here. So I'll try and preserve that. I can emphasize it a little bit by putting this dark form to it. Right. I think we should perhaps leave it shortly. Say it's how much detail do I put in? I can put lots. But do I overwork it? It's good to stand back actually. We'll see whether it's reading right. think I've probably done enough. I'll probably do some odd adjustments at some point, not on camera, but it's good to reflect for a day or so sometimes on the finished article, how you can improve it. So I think I should call a halt. I think, where is the shadow on that? This is a little smidge of darkness here. Right, well there we are. I think I'm going to leave it at that, and hope you've enjoyed this little scene of this old public house, the Swan. Amazing little place. Unfortunately, not a pub anymore. It's the way of the world. I don't think they could probably make enough out of it to justify all the running costs. It was a restaurant for a while as well. I did go to it some years ago. Right, there we are then, the Swan at Radwell. If you would like to see more of my paintings or be notified, just touch the like button, the thumbs up, and then also subscribe button, which you'll see, and that means when I put up more paintings you will be able to you'll be notified, so you're not going to miss it. And it also helps encourage me to think that some people are watching it, so I can do more then. Okay, thanks for watching.